Boom, we're recording. It's PicklePod. Wait, first, hold on. Can you hear me in my mic?
Tap
That's
it.
That's a great mic.
Yeah.
It's like wobbly and shit. I bought it at Amazon.
You put the little ding wrapper around it?
You want to see how pro I am?
Ooh, nice.
Two mics.
Two mics. Two different podcasts. Three different podcasts. Three different technologies. Some mics work better on certain technologies than others. Yeah. Okay, let's do it, Thomas.
No, we're live. Pickleball McNasty.
You're looking scruffy today, Tyson.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I got to tell you. So I did a pickleball / survivor viewing party last night at the Pickler, the indoor facility that hosted the Tournament of Champions when it got rained out.
Okay.
And it was awesome, but I stayed there a really long time and really late playing pickleball. And my parents, whose house I'm staying at, is an hour and a half away from where I played pickleball. And I left there at like 1:15.
Got it.
And I got home at like 2:45.
Is this thing new?
Oh, this? No, I always have some facial hair. I look like a turtle without any facial hair.
Like Franklin? Actually,
yeah, like Franklin, dude.
Yeah, I would say Franklin.
Yeah. Franklin's he's the turtle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a TV show, yeah.
Yeah. So probably like that. And I don't really look like that. It's just like with a little bit of scruff, you look like you have a way stronger chin.
Hey, so how do you two know each other?
You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get deep.
Well, no, it wasn't deep. I reached out to Casey Patterson, who is a professional beach volleyball player. Mm-hmm. And we just had become friends on social media. And so I reached out to Casey when I was in Newport. I was like, hey, do you want to play some games? I got Jay DeVilliers playing some games with me in Newport while there's this tournament going on. Would you be interested in playing? He's like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to bring a fourth or do you want me to find a fourth? He's like, I'll bring a fourth. And I was like, good. It's probably some pretty important influencer with a huge following that will be able to, synergize together so that we boost him equally as much as he's boosting us. Mm-hmm. And then Pickleball McNasty showed up.
And then that's what happened.
And that's what happened. Exactly all of my hopes and dreams.
All those things that you described worked out perfectly. No, so I got there and we're like playing that. Like I have no idea who Tyson is. I've never watched Survivor. Now I think it's cool, I guess. But I got there and we're playing and it's like Casey and I versus Jay and Tyson. And he's just like, Tyson's talking shit the entire time, which is like, and I don't know the guy. So it's kind of like, I mean, I get it. He's like a personality or whatever. He like kept digging into me the entire time. And even afterwards, then we were on like a group chat, me, Casey and Tyson. He's just like ripping me. And I'm like, I kind of hate this guy. Like, I don't know.
You didn't like it?
Not at first. And then we started chatting after and started talking about like social followings and just like, then I got to know you more one-on-one. I was like, all right, this guy's really cool. I like this dude. But at the beginning, I was like, God, he's just coming at me for no reason.
Oh, I apologize, Matt. I thought that you thought it was funny. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that if I thought that you were really, really bugged. I would have just stopped talking to you completely and been like, this guy can't handle the heat. I don't think we can be friends. But I would definitely have laid off. If you would have been like, hey, bro, you got to chill. It's bothering me. I would have for you.
I love it.
Is that the first time you've gotten under somebody's skin?
No, it definitely isn't. And I don't.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah. But I don't try. I like to razz people, but if they're not having fun, then I don't want to do that to them.
No, it was all fun and games.
It was all good spirited. I wasn't being mean. Well, we talked about his nickname. To
be fair, that's what I was going to say. If you show up to a court and you go, "Yeah, I'm Pickleball McNasty," I think you're going to take some shots.
That's true.
So this was the problem. My issue. He gave himself that nickname. And I was always under the impression you're not allowed to stamp a nickname on yourself unless somebody else gives you that nickname and it just sticks.
Well, someone else did give me that nickname because my last name's Manasse, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. So in high school, my tennis
we're going to blur that out.
My tennis coaches called me McNasty. Like I had this one.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. You said you gave yourself the nickname when we had the conversation about it.
You asked me like on the spot, and you're this big personality. I was intimidated. I didn't have an answer at the time.
So you said you gave it to yourself. I look at Casey. I'm like, you can't give yourself your own nickname. And Casey's like, I know, that's right. You can't. And
well,
I
gave myself like the pickleball part of it. Like
sure,
McNasty.
But that's fine. That's now we're in a gray area. But if you had been rolling as McNasty for a while.
I had this Hispanic coach. I'll give him a shout out, Christian Cawas from Honduras in high school. And he used to call me like a McNasty and had this like accent about it. And it was funny. And it kind of just like stuck through high school and even in college and after. I mean, so John McEnroe was the original McNasty.
Okay.
That's what they called it. And then because of obviously being John McEnroe and the MC, right. But yeah, stuck after.
Got it. So,
and just to clarify, you were college tennis player.
Correct.
College tennis coach.
At an accredited college or what?
Yeah, totally accredited. Not
okay, cool. I always make sure when people start bragging about college, I got to make sure it's accredited.
I played college tennis at USC and then Purdue, and
both
then
accredited
after graduation, I worked.
Both accredited universities.
Yeah, exactly.
Purdue, Tech State in Nebraska, actually.
Yeah,
exactly. Where'd you go? Where'd you guys go to school?
You were going to finish that. What'd you do after college?
Yeah. And then I worked at Babolat, obviously a company in pickleball now, for a year and a half before I was doing junior sponsorship, marketing, all that stuff for them. And then went into college coaching. My last trip with them was actually to NCAAs in Illinois. I was like, damn, I really want to be on court again. I kind of missed that part of tennis and got into my first job at the women's assistant coach at Wisconsin, go Badgers, and then Oklahoma State for 2 years, and then Duke University for 2 years, and then
how are you getting these jobs? Like, how are you getting these? How are you getting these jobs? Like these initial jobs, like because typically becoming a college coach is quite a process, I assume, and you have to have some longevity in the entire system before sometimes you become a head coach.
Well, if you're a good player, I feel like that's a good.
Yeah, I think in tennis, it's one of those weird ones because you don't really need to have experience to get in the door as an assistant. It's more about networking and personalities matching up and knowing the right people. So coming from Babolat, I had a lot of the scouting experience. I was already on the road at junior tournaments all the time. So I knew a lot of these kids that were probably going to, matriculate to college or whatever in the coming years. And then combined with my playing background at Purdue, obviously Wisconsin's a Big Ten school. So kind of just worked out, had a couple interviews, got the job. And once you're in the system, then it's obviously easier to flow through it. So,
right. And in that interview, you were like, call me McNasty.
I might have left the McNasty off going for a women's job when I was 23 years old. But, yeah.
All right. And then the transition into pickleball. You got to talk about the transition into pickleball.
Yeah. So I was traveling on tour as a pro tennis coach right before the pandemic. I was at Indian Wells with the player. Indian Wells got canceled. I was supposed to go home to Florida. I actually did go home for about 3 hours. And my mom was so freaked out that I could potentially have COVID. At that time, no one knew like what was going on. I just traveled across country. And she's like, take all your clothes off in the garage. Like we're putting them in the fucking dumpster. And I'm not a curse on here. And
F-bomb. That's the first one. That's the first F-bomb I think we've had. So that's, I guess we do now.
I mean, we have a lot of families listening, but if you don't mind that image being the bad boy,
I'm sure Doug cursed here. He didn't curse on here. Doug was clean.
Oh, he probably cursed on here.
Yeah, he probably definitely.
I think Thomas is wrong in his facts.
So my mom was like, don't pet the dog. We're burning your clothes. Like you're flying back to Pennsylvania, like my childhood home. And I got on a flight, 3 hours later and went to PA and was kind of alone there, not knowing what the world was going to look like for, the near future. And we had a blacked out tennis court there that was supposed to get like resurfaced or whatever. And it never had. So it was just like a black court. There was nothing to do. The aging tennis community in Erie had picked up pickleball and I played like once with them early March or mid-March, whatever it was, of COVID. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Lowe's, picked up some duct tape, taped down lines, got a temporary net, like a kid's 10 and under net. I actually put it on blocks, like cinder blocks, raised it up, tied it to like the post. Like it was the most janky setup my first couple of months in pickleball, and like then it was kind of off to the races. We played, every day. That's all we could do.
Do you have pictures of that old net?
I do have pictures. I will
Yes, I have a
send
picture
to.
of
I will
that.
send to Shieldsy after this.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that story. You were featured in the first ever Dink newsletter.
Well, we spoke. I was like driving on the 10 to
I remember
Memorial
that.
Park.
That's why everything you're saying right now, I'm like, wait, I knew that. Wait, I knew that too. And that, like, it's all coming back to me.
Yeah, when I first spoke to Thomas, I just had no idea. Like, I didn't look up who you were. I had no clue. And you were like, this guy's starting a newsletter. It's pickleball. Like, I assumed Thomas was like this 50-year-old dude. I swear, the first conversation, I thought you were like 50.
Really?
When I first met you in person, and then like, it was wild. I was like, holy crap!
That's
when you first met him in person, did you think he was lying?
No, he was like, wow, you're way taller than I thought.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thomas looks short online, but he is almost 6 foot.
Dude.
I don't know what that was. Did you hear that? That was my alarm. I heard it.
Actually, I need to set the bar low. For everybody listening, I am 5'6". Mm-hmm. And when they see me and they realize I'm 5'10", they're like, oh, like,
yeah, wow. He's got a big stature. That one. Yeah, that's probably what they'll say. Okay. So you played every day.
I played it. So then I was playing for a couple of months. Obviously, my parents came home. Summer happened, and things started to open up a little bit. And I was like, damn, I thought in my mind I'm getting pretty good. Like I was watching some videos online of like these pros, and I was like, I could do that.
It's easy to do that pro stuff against 3-0 players. I've realized that too, because I'm like, dude, I see these things that Ben Johns and stuff's doing, but Harvey, the 70-year-old down the street, I can do that to him.
Right. I can Ernie Harvey all day.
Yeah, all day long, dude. Set it up and do it.
you just dink slow down the line. You watch him dink slow back, and you're like, got it. This is easy. But and then the funniest story was like, so I do you know Tony Giannone down in Orlando? He's done a lot of camps with Simone and Ben, and he's a good player in his own right and college coach. That's how I knew him from. He coached at Oregon. But I got on the phone with him, and he's like, dude, if you think you're really good, like come down to Florida and like play a tournament, or I'll sign you up for. I'm like, maybe, like, sure. And he's like, no, there's a guy in Florida who's looking for a partner for a tournament in August in Newport. And I was like, all right, sure. Give me his number. So I get on the phone with the young Ryan Sherry. And Sherry's like, oh, bro, like if we're gonna play this tournament, like, you got to get down to Florida and we got to train for a week. Like I'll get you, like, come down. You could stay at my place. Like I'll get Ben on the court. I'll get it. Catherine Parenteau's down here. Simone, like we'll get everyone on the court. So I went down there, had a whirlwind week with him. Obviously, he's the man. And we played with Ben that week, which was like, that was like eye opening. The first time playing, obviously, like this is my 3rd, 4th month in playing pickleball. And we just had like a practice with Ben Johns, and that was like, it looked so easy to him. And I just remember, like, even when we were dinking the first, like I was warming up with him, and he took like every dink like out of the air and reaching in. And like at that time, that was like a very odd thing for me, because I was just not on the line where I was supposed to be, not reaching in the way I was supposed to be reaching in. So just seeing kind of the way he moved around the court was pretty cool. I actually ended up paying for a clinic with Ben, Simone, and Tony at the end of that week, because Tony was like, look, if you really want to get a head start.
Oh, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got, bro.
I got. That's it.
Come play for free for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. And come for the clinic. So it was actually funny, because then I played, I think I played maybe only once. I guess Sherry and I in Vegas played Ben and Matt Wright, 2nd round of the PPA. And then you have Warnick in the audience, like, hey Ben, are you gonna charge him for this one too? Like, I was just a very, very funny full circle moment. But I kind of jumped in, and once I came out to California for that tournament, that's when I got hooked. I've known Wes Burrows for a long time through working at Babolat. I got hooked up with Doug Ellen and all these people, and I was like, damn, LA could be a spot for me. 2 months later, I moved out.
Oh, so you were kind of new to LA when we had talked. You've come a long way. You're like the celebrity whisperer now.
Something like that, yeah.
And you've got that job over at the Riv, which is what the the in crowd calls it.
Yeah,
Tell us about that. All right. So how did that come about, and just like
when did we speak first?
Do?
Was that like November?
Probably, yeah, November. Yeah,
wow,
would have been a year ago. Yeah, or over a year ago. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I just moved out in October 8th of last year. Yeah, so I went home in December when I got out here. I had been to the Riv many times because All Americans, the college tennis tournament, was hosted at the Riv when I was at Oklahoma State and Duke. So I had taken my team out there many times, and I met Mark Wahlberg, like randomly driving into the site once. So like I kind of knew it was like the celebrity spot in LA. So I had my eyes set on working here. I didn't know it was even going to be in pickleball originally, and they didn't have a program. I kind of kept bothering the director for months with emails, and I didn't really even get responses for a while. And then I met a member, Natalie Bagby, who's a senior pro at Memorial, and then got that conversation going. And, yeah.
It's spelled Natalie with a TH in the middle.
Oh, it's
I every time I write, because she wins a lot, every time I write that name in the results, in my head, I was like, Natalie? Like, why?
There's Natalie. That's not
noted.
So uncommon.
No, to have an H in the middle of Natalie, it's pretty uncommon.
But we don't say Thomas for your name.
That's correct. And you know what? Where'd you go to college? Probably a better college than me.
I went to Brigham Young University for a year and a half and then dropped out.
You think through this stuff. I do not.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Did Casey go to BYU too?
Yeah. I think I'm a couple years older than him. He played volleyball and I was a swimmer. And so our paths definitely would have crossed in the athletic department had we been there at the same time. And probably if I'd swam all 4 years, he probably would have been playing volleyball by that time.
Yeah. Very cool. But yeah, so the Riv, I was actually supposed to probably start a little bit earlier, or at least give a clinic earlier. But I got appendicitis in January while I was home. I was about to play a tournament and start the year off kind of in Florida with a couple events, and got appendicitis, got that removed. And then, came out, did a couple introductory clinics at the Riv. They liked it, not put me on staff. I'm a private contractor, but they hired me, and off to the races in April, and it's been a fun building process over there.
That's wild. Sure. Okay. So you've played with a lot of interesting people. I think if I'm thinking Larry David, obviously Doug Ellen.
Yep.
Recently, not at the Riv. I think you were on the East Coast, but you got to play with Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And George and Jeb Bush were watching.
Yes.
Did they get on the court when you guys were playing?
They did not. So George was like, I call him George now.
Of course you do.
Everybody.
George was watching. He had just like finished painting.
You don't call him G or something cool?
I don't call him G. He's such a nice guy, by the way. Like, so Drew and I were playing for like.
Would you vote for him if he ran for president?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't have to answer that, but it's fine that you did.
Glad we covevered that.
No, but no. So Drew. Well, so I went to Purdue. Drew went to Purdue. So that was like a cool kind of conversation there. And even though Purdue football still sucks, but basketball, we're one of the country. So how about that?
Are you?
But huh? Okay. We will be.
You guys were.
Yeah, because Purdue won and then Duke just lost. So so we're playing for like a couple hours, and then George has to leave with Secret Service. He's about to leave that night. And the Secret Service obviously wanted a picture with Drew. And so he's like, George is going one way, Drew's going the other way with the Secret Service. And George is like, he kept calling me pro the whole day. He's like, hey, pro, like, I told the Secret Service, like, they should get a picture with you too. You're one hell of a player, which I thought was like a very cool moment from like a president to like take the time on his way out to like make me feel like a pretty good person. So
make you feel like he didn't know your name.
That's true, but at least he called me pro. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Sure.
The leader of the free world gave you a compliment.
The former leader.
Correct. And he was Jeb was awesome. I mean, it was a very cool conference. They had a bunch of it was a big financial conference that I actually went to as well afterwards. So saw a lot of cool people speak, and it's been fun.
Were you there for the conference or were you there for pickleball?
I was there.
What brought you there?
my client and now friend, like he invests in it's sponsored by LaCroix. Look at that. Jesus,
it's our new sponsor.
So he is invested in that. It's called Finback. It's this big fund that Jeb Bush and then this other guy run, who's now actually in Malibu. But yeah, I was there at the beginning portion of this conference before it really started. They had this pickleball thing planned, and the only way we were going to go is if like the weather held up and all this stuff. Like I had already like found backup courts indoors because like my buddy wanted to play with Drew and George and all this stuff. So we had set it all up, rain or shine. Our buddy Craig Coyne, you know Craig as well, yep. I bet. He was out there too. So it was a very cool thing. The weather held up, it all worked. And then, the conference was following. There was a cocktail party after, and then the next morning there was like just a couple hours of speakers, and it was very interesting. Crazy.
Did you get to play with Craig?
I did play with Craig as well.
How's
yes.
he? Is he good?
He's not bad. I mean, obviously the dude's like a crazy athlete. He just needs like real one-on-one work on the court, just with like some technical things, just like you do, Tyson. You know, just a couple little tweaks here and there, and you'll be where you need to be.
Okay, I already feel like I'm where I need to be. I have fun. I have fun. Avoid players that are too good. And
read between the lines, Tyson. Shots fired.
Shots fired. Fine. I will hire you. How much?
I'll give you a rate. I'll let you know off air.
Okay. Going back to Craig Coyne, it's interesting because I think all three of us here did an interview with Craig Coyne at one point as he was writing an article for Vanity Fair. Is that right?
Was there a Vanity Fair article that came out?
There was a Vanity Fair article that came out.
Let's just stay on topic here, if you don't mind. Maybe we don't talk about irrelevant stuff.
Okay, because I think that we all spent time with Craig Coyne.
We did.
On a call at some point in our careers here in pickleball, because we're all in our own ways influential, have some sway in this, maybe not some sway, but some influence in this sport. And an article came out in Vanity Fair in print talking about pickleball, and it was mostly about the celebrities who play pickleball. And because you are linked to the Riv and you have played with most of these celebrities, there was a large portion of it about you. They also mentioned me a little bit. I had my name in there, like my full name. So that's
PicklePod, guys. Thanks for joining this week.
And then Thomas, I cannot honestly, McNasty, verify if Thomas did in fact speak to Craig. He says he did.
Right. He might not have. I mean, he should probably say he didn't, because if he did, then he wasn't influential at all. Like there was no impact on that conversation.
Right.
So
this is good. Let me know when this is done, and we can get to that.
And also, I just want to, for the record, McNasty, this is fun, right? Razzing Thomas is fun for us.
Correct. So that's when we had this razzing moment in Vegas, I was like, you know what? Tyson's a great guy when it's not about me.
Okay. Okay, so noted. So as long as you're on my team, McNasty, it's fun. It's fun to razz people.
100%.
Okay.
Well, I told you in a previous episode, if you recall, we spent that entire interview talking about podcasting before this podcast was a thing. So
that's true.
I gave up my moment in the spotlight for the benefit of what we're doing right now. So
yeah,
I love it.
That's true. We all sacrifice something because now me and McNasty have to live our lives in the spotlight, just getting more and more notoriety. Wow.
So McNasty, when like, I don't know, Larry David walks up to the court, is he like asking for your autograph when you guys do a clinic now? Is that like kind of
I mean, it's a big deal for sure. I actually have a cool thing coming out with kind of my Sunday crew that you guys will see, I'm sure, in the next week or so. But
a teaser.
Give us some spoilers. Who's the Sunday crew?
Sunday crew is Larry David. I don't know if I've played with him enough times. Good guy. Ari Emanuel. All the Rhea Burkus and Jim Burkus named in the article as well. Sometimes Jeremy Zimmer, Joel Silver, a bunch of Hollywood people, but really, really awesome people. Sarah Staudinger, the fashion brand Staud. But they Bobby Kotick. They all come together most Sundays when they're in town, and we have a good Sunday crew. It's kind of built over time. It just started with the wives originally, and then they brought all the husbands along, and they're obviously like just really great people and love pickleball.
What do you, is it some sort of video thing? Is it something you put together, or is it something that was done for like
it's something that I put together. It's a little bit of, it's a gift. It's something they can use on a pickleball court, which should give it away a little bit.
A gift to them, a gift to the world, a gift to your fans. What is this?
It's a gift to them. And if it's well received, then maybe other people can have a shot at getting it as well.
Gamma pickleball.
Okay, wait. This is a good little segue. I got to plug something here. So speaking of gifts, if you're one of the many lazy people out there and you're like, what am I going to do for my parents or a significant other or whatever for Christmas, which is right around the corner, or for the holidays, which is right around the corner,
or for Hanukkah, that's currently I'm Jewish. Come on, let's plug every holiday.
I said the holidays. I corrected.
Okay.
Sorry, McNasty.
Pickleball Master Course, which you guys can get for 10% off using code the Dink. It's actually the most comprehensive course I've ever seen. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but there's a little plug for you.
I love it.
Okay. Is it an online course?
It is. Yes.
Oh.
Pickleballmastercourse.com. Oh, yeah.
If there was one celebrity or person in the world that you guys could play with, who would it be? Is there someone that's like top of the list, or someone that you heard play that you heard plays and you want to play with?
Leo.
I want to play with. You want to play with Leo? I just want to play with whoever would give me the best game and
Fair enough.
would be entertaining enough, but I would be more interested in the gameplay and having a really fun competitive game. So
have you played with Doug yet?
No, but I feel like he's good. I feel like he's probably better than me.
I mean, I'm not even like razzing you. He is, but that's not like a knock on you. He's a very good player.
No, and I'm not also saying that when I see like little snippets of him playing, I think he's very good.
Yeah,
so I think
of all of that crowd too, that can like equal you in terms of like the banter and the shit talk. Like he's gonna do that as well, which makes it like that's the fun of it, you know.
But if he's better than me and he's equal at shit talking, where does that leave me? I just have to be defensively shit talking the whole time. No, I just put him with a weaker player. Game. Okay. Well, it's me and you, and then we do him and Thomas.
Yeah, that would be a good match.
Who are some of the other like good Hollywood people or clients you have at the Riv? Like who's solid? Maybe like a name people would recognize.
That are. I mean, I just started with someone that one of the members of Friends. I can't say who it is. But I'm working with that.
I mean, it's only one of like four
one
people.
Of six.
One of six, whatever.
But, whatever. Really,
one of
really
six. That means it's not the top four, Thomas.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it's
like
probably Matthew Perry. And so we're just, you can say, I don't know. You can say, I don't know. I appreciate that. But I'll definitively say Matt Perry sounds like he's pretty good at pickleball.
Man, this sounds like a lot of work for you, Matt, because now you have to go through and watch the entire collection of Friends just so that you can be familiar, so that when all they talk about is episode 7 on season 4, you know what they're chatting about.
I have heard that there's going to be pickleball played, and I'm not in it, and I don't even, it's not confirmed, but it's through, and it's not even through like my Larry connection. It's through someone else that plays pickleball. But apparently on episode 8 of Curb, there's pickleball played. Is what I'm hearing, which is really cool.
I think I saw that somewhere already. I don't think
we mentioned in our newsletter that they talked about it in one of the episodes.
They talked about it in episode, like, in episode 5. He says like, "Hey, like, you know, have you tried pickleball?" Like, but I heard in episode 8, which is 2 from now, I believe. I heard he plays, which is really cool.
You heard he plays, so
how Hollywood
knowing you might be in the episode.
No. I swear to God, I'm definitely not in the episode, or else I would tell you that. And I don't even know for sure, but I heard it's not even from him or any of that crowd. It's from like another friend in pickleball who knows someone at HBO that after his little segue, you know, saying, "Oh, have you tried pickleball?" They said that like they heard it through people at HBO that in episode 8 he's playing, which is sick.
You know, Larry David listens to this podcast, and now you just spoiled episode 8 of his show here.
He also heard your impression of him, so I wonder if he'll be offended by that.
No, I thought that was pretty good. Hey,
I did too. Great credit where credit's due.
So, well, cool.
Okay, well, one, and I know like it sounds like you signed an NDA or something, so you can't even say, but you hadn't mentioned that you were we'll bleep it out if we need to. You were going to play with Addison Rae at one point, or at least she was thinking about coming to play. Did that ever happen?
I was talking to her. I
With
just like,
TikToker?
and I don't do this as much anymore, to be honest, because I'm not really like chasing that. And not chasing Addison, but chasing like those high profile people.
I'm Googling Addison Rae. Addison.
I'm busy.
She's a
enough and
TikToker who
good.
like became a global star.
But when I first started at the Rib, I was like, this would be a good way to get more people involved in pickleball and just kind of grow the sport from a new audience, was reaching out to these types of people and get them involved in the game. So I did hear back from her, agent really quickly, and she was into it and the family was into it. And then I was texting with them and like trying to figure out a time, and he was interested, and all of a sudden kind of dropped off. I even sent the articles and all this stuff, and didn't work out, but it's all right. Maybe another time. Yeah, she's big time. She's exploded.
No, she had already exploded when you had said that. So.
I mean, she's like a superstar. But it's weird that Tyson doesn't know who she is.
I've never heard of this girl or seen her, but I did Google, and
she's definitely a generation below.
Yeah,
at least one below all of us. So.
And the first headline I found was Addison Rae wows in chic mermaid gown at Fashion Awards 2021.
Oh, you didn't see the mermaid gown? It was absolutely. I mean, it was phenomenal.
It is stunning. I admit, but did you really? Are you really familiar with the mermaid gown?
How could you not be?
Okay, you're right.
I was the mermaid gown like for Halloween. Like that was
that was your Halloween costume. That is true.
I made my own.
Don't you want to see Federer play pickleball?
I mean, I want to see all those guys play pickleball, and they might play pickleball, but I don't think they want the world to know that they're playing pickleball for some reason. I want
to see them play against the best in the world of pickleball and show that like it really does take skill to be good at this sport. You can't just like cross over immediately.
But let me ask you this. What if Federer plays pickleball and destroys? Then what it will be your response? Oh, stay in your lane, bro.
Then I would I would say it's the worst idea I've ever had.
Okay. Oh man.
All right, Matt. I know you said you got to jump at like 30, so I'll give you your opportunity. All right, but I know you probably want to plug your Wilson Pickleball and anything else.
How do I even? Wilson Pickle. What is it? It's there.
Yeah, it's right there. You got it.
What else? I have Wilson. I'm trying Zealous Souls. Wilson's obviously been with me through tennis, now through pickleball. I do love their Echo paddles. You don't have to show this if you want, but I do love Wilson and Cy and all my guys over there. They've been great to me, and did help me out with the gift that I'm giving to my Sunday cruise. So I'm pumped for that. I don't know. Municipal.
Where can we follow you?
Huh?
Where can we find you?
Please follow me on Instagram at Matt Manasse, and I believe I'm on Twitter somewhere. You can put that on the post production, but Instagram's my main thing at Matt Manasse. I believe it's Matt Pickleball McNasty now. If you're searching, so I post a lot of funny stories there. So I think they're funny, but who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the most important is that you're happy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're doing it right. Thanks, Matt. That was awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm sure you have some really surreal moments planned for the entire afternoon, and we're all jealous.
A couple lessons. I have 5 hours on the court today, and I appreciate you guys having me on. This is a fun way to kick off the morning, and this is really great. So thank you.
Okay,
thanks, buddy.
Take care, dude.
Later.
All right.
That was fun.
That was Pickleball McNasty, the self-named.
No, we come to find out he had gotten the McNasty. Okay, you're not believing his story at all.
No. You'd given him shit for that prior, so he was like, "All right, I got to come up with a story."
Yeah, okay.
So set the record straight on this podcast.
Yeah,
no,
and make me look like
that
a
name
fool.
Himself. Yeah, it was really elaborate though, like the Honduran tennis coach from way back.
He came up with a lot of backstory.
I don't buy it.
There was too much. You think there was too much backstory for it to be true?
Right. Exactly. That's when you know. That's what he
too
meant.
many details.
Like
How
far
could you?
too elaborate.
Yeah.
Right,
How could
right.
you remember all these details?
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
If you ever have the chance to meet up and play games with him, or just say hi to him at the tournaments, he's a fun guy.
Well, clearly, I mean, he had no idea who I was a year ago. Nobody did in pickleball, or nobody knew what the dink was in pickleball, and he jumped right on the phone with me, and he was in the first one. And then, did you know that you were in the second issue? I think I've said that before.
I was in the second issue. Did I know? Was it unbeknownst to me, or did I interview with you and talk to you about it? Oh, was it when you came out to Mesa?
No. It was before that. It was before the new year, so it would have been in 2020. And I think really what I had done is I had just listened to another podcast where you interviewed, and I just basically like recapped what was on the. We didn't have a lot of. I was plucking material from everywhere.
Okay,
so
cool.
I think I basically just like summarized that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think I called you a pro at that, but I didn't know any. I thought you were a pro.
A lot of people call me a pro. I think part of it is my name is Tyson, which is confusing because Tyson McGuffin is one of the top pros.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, I mean, I correct people. They're like, so you're a pro pickleball player. I'm like, I am not. I'm not a pro pickleball player. I enjoy the sport. I love the sport. I want to share the sport. I want the sport to grow, but I am not pro. I just share the good word of pickleball. That is my calling. Right.
By the way, I found somebody who can take out Thomas Wilson. I could have him take out Tyson McGuffin too, if you want.
Oh, so we take out our name nemesises.
Yeah, well, it's inconvenient.
Why don't we do a Thomas and Thomas versus Tyson and Tyson?
I wonder who would win that. Thomas and Thomas would win that. Too.
No.
What would be your strategy?
Target you.
Good strategy.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't expect that. It was really good.
Yeah. What do we have in the newsletter this week? Anything?
Vandalism. Did you see that?
No.
Dude, there are these courts in California, and it's kind of wild. Like, usually we'll like cover these these stories and like nobody actually cares, but like it's relevant. It's in the world of pickleball, so let's like throw it in there. This was kind of aggressive. There were these tennis courts that were in this community for forever, and they converted a few of them to pickleball courts. They just like threw lines down or whatever, and there were two remaining tennis courts, and there was this like hearing in the community to determine whether or not they'd put lines on the only two remaining tennis only courts. They decided to do that, and like the next day, or maybe like a couple of days later or something, the pickleball players came to the courts, and nobody knows if it was tennis players or whatever, but they took 6 quarts of motor oil and just ruined the courts. They were like, if we can't have our tennis courts just to ourselves, nobody's going to play.
Wow. And motor oil just is so slick and disgusting.
Yeah.
And impossible.
It's like a weird move, but like they must have like Googled like how to ruin a tennis court. Yeah, because like I would have not known to go like get motor oil.
Yeah, but I don't think that's kids just like out for a goof, but you never know.
No, there was a note. There was a note with it. It was like threatening.
And what did it say?
I don't remember.
Keep your pickles off of our tennises.
Yeah, it was like don't come back, basically.
Wow,
kind of crazy.
That's nuts. I had a guy I do not know on Facebook. I get random DMs all the time. And this guy, he said, it's along these same lines here, and I'm going to find it. Here we go. F pickleball, learn tennis and keep your sport off our courts.
Yeah, dude.
And I responded and said, what's tennis? And
dude, I say that every time.
And he responded, the greatest sport ever, and then blocked me from responding back to him. Oh. But this guy could be the perpetrator of, maybe he's the motor oil dumper. I mean, he's aggressive enough.
I mean, if that's the evidence we're using, I could show you thousands of other people who might also be the culprit.
Fine.
I'm trying to find almost every day I can just like jump into my comments and there's somebody just ruthlessly ripping apart pickleball. People outside of sport do not like it. Let's see. Let's jump on one of these videos. I kind of want to just like read a couple of these because they get to be pretty ridiculous at certain points on our reels. So our Instagram reels tend to reach so we have like almost 50,000 followers now, but like our reels will reach audiences much broader than that.
Yes.
Like this video of Simone, Ben versus Anna Lee and Tyson is at 2 million views on Instagram right now.
Wow.
So you can imagine there's like a lot of comments and it's like, all right, well, if I don't find one, this is going to be very anticlimactic. A lot of sexist comments on here. Are you still trying to find your DM?
No, I already showed it to you. I read it to you.
Oh, wait, read it. I wasn't listening.
Okay. You weren't listening? Okay, I'll read it one more time, but the listeners all already heard it. It's from a Wes Klein, a person I do not know, took the time to DM me on Facebook, on my Facebook fan page, which is verified, obviously. And it says, F pickleball, learn tennis, and keep your sport off our courts. And then I wrote, what's tennis? And then he wrote, the greatest sport ever, and then blocked me from responding so that I couldn't get under his skin more.
God, okay. That's a good
move. I'm going to get the last word, and then I'm going to.
You did say that. Okay, I was listening to that. I thought you were going to bring up. Another one.
No, that was it.
But like, I'll give you like Blake _hockey for life. So the guy's already got an axe to grind.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the name. And he just goes, pickleball is nothing but a game of whack F, LOL. Like, all right. And then somebody goes, weak ass in quotations sport. It's like, it's just like it. I mean, it really is endless. Like, this is not even the video I was talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, people don't like pickleball, but whatever. All right, we got the APP Casa Grande this weekend, which I think is going to actually have a really good player pool. I know like the Newmans are going, Ben Johns is going, and a lot of players that wouldn't normally play APP. So actually going to be a pretty solid tournament there in Casa Grande, Arizona. Do you know where that is?
Yes, it's like 45 minutes away from where I live, just south of Phoenix.
It said it's between Phoenix and Tucson. Okay, so Phoenix I thought was comprised of Scottsdale, Tucson, and then like one and Tempe.
No.
So
Phoenix. There's even Phoenix Valley is huge. There's multiple millions of people that live there and tens of townships at least. It's Mesa, Chandler, Queen Creek, Tempe, Phoenix, Scottsdale. All of those are there. Tucson is a couple hours south of that. And Casa Grande is in the middle of both of those. And there's not a lot going on out there in Casa Grande. I think it's more of like a farming, rural style community.
Yeah.
But pickleball is big out there, and I think they do have some nice courts. But I noticed that some of the pros were trickling into town this week. I'm in Utah right now. But I
think people talk about the hotbeds for pickleball. I think it's Utah and Arizona.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
two places I visit most.
The top two.
Yeah, Utah is crazy. Like we had a good turnout yesterday at the Pickler, and we're going to do more events at the Pickler because they are working in conjunction with yours truly to share the sport.
Do they have multiple locations?
Oh, just you wait.
Dude, it's crazy.
They're going to have a lot.
I've talked to multiple the Picklers, right? Like versions, right? Obviously there's Shooting Pickle, which everybody knows.
Yes.
But there's tons of real estate groups that are out there trying to develop the same concept or their own spin on it, right?
Right.
Top golf, but for pickleball.
Yeah.
And some sort of.
The Pickler is a pickleball gym. It's got a little pro shop at the front, and then it has 6 pristine indoor courts.
You go there to play pickleball. At Chicken and Pickle, you go to get some chicken.
Correct.
Like play maybe like with your, Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So this is
Cool.
pickleball, but it goes 24 hours. It's open 24 hours a day. And if you they don't need anybody on staff in the middle of the night. So if you're a member, they just give you a key card.
Okay. It's a membership deal.
Yeah.
Got it.
Go in and have fun.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really sick. Can you imagine? Like, because if your schedule was where like you worked like at night or something and wanted to play at like 3 a.m, awesome.
Yeah. Like a lot of people in the medical community is kind of like what I'm thinking, like nurses and stuff like that. But that's pretty cool. Okay. And then next weekend is nationals.
Correct.
We're not going to be there. We're not going. A lot of people are asking if we're going. We're not doing it. Yeah. I think with the COVID restrictions, like it shook a lot of stuff up. And I think
I would have gone anyways. I'm vaccinated.
Yeah. I think just like a lot of people who aren't or just like don't agree dropped out.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember a lot of people were talking about it when it was announced. And
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see what the turnout is. I mean, it's nationals. It'll probably be great, but yeah.
And yeah, I agree. And I think that, it's one of those things that they understand they're going to be people that aren't going to participate because of the mandate that they've set. But I think Indian Wells is a private establishment that can do what they think is best for liability purposes or for the health of the people that are going to be there. So that's how the world works, I guess. But I would like to be there, but I will not be there. And it's not because of that. It's because I'm too busy in December.
Yeah, it's a Indian Wells. It's the venue itself is what determined the policy.
Correct.
So, let's see. All right. Everybody's always talking about like what paddle generates the most spin.
Always.
This dude, Chris Olson, really talented dude. He actually either produced or helped produce, or even, I think maybe even wrote a documentary on Netflix about speed cubing, like Rubik's Cube. Like,
okay. Yeah.
Rubik's
I
cubing.
did see that. I did see that documentary.
It's a great documentary. I actually was like really into it.
Yeah.
He like loves pickleball now, and he's doing all these, he's starting to do videos, and they're really, really well done. And the most recent one, he tested like 20 of the top, paddles with a good reputation for generating a lot of spin.
Okay.
Had him and his brother take each paddle, hit 10 shots each. They covered half of the pickleball in Sharpie and then used a really high res camera and recorded, all the shots and then counted the number of rotations to determine the RPMs associated with each paddle, averaged it out, and then came up with like a ranking of the top paddles.
Okay.
All right. I looked gamma. They didn't even test a gamma. So I wonder where a gamma would have been in that.
Yeah. You need a hellbender or a shard for that control and spin. But also here's a few things that I have an issue with.
Okay.
If it's a human producing spin, you have to do such a large pool. Like you said, okay, they average the spin. Okay, but you're going to have to hit that ball 20,000 times each paddle and average that. Otherwise, the pool you're drawing from is too small to get a true average. And so I think like you have to take this with a grain of salt, obviously.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue that the test could be better, but it is so far the best test we've seen.
Okay.
Because all these companies want to just like claim their paddle produces the most spin without any sort of evidence. And there's talk of certain paddles being better than others. This is the only time I've ever seen sort of like a methodical and well-approached study that actually takes in data points, whether it's enough data points. We can talk about that another time, but this is probably the best read into what paddle produces the most spin that we have. So which paddle, or maybe you can name like the top 3 that you think would be up there as far as generating the most spin.
I mean, everybody says the Franklin is the Ben Johns edition is really gritty.
Yep.
I've heard that the Engage and the Electrum are both pretty gritty, and those are the three I'm going with.
Okay, I probably would have guessed something very similar. Ben John's paddle, Franklin paddle, didn't even crack the top 10.
Wow.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting because that's like one of the ones everybody's like, this one generates the most. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing about that paddle, though, is like it wears. So
I've heard that.
Even if it has a lot of spin when you first buy it, like within a month, if you play a lot, you're probably going to want to replace it to maintain that spin. But I said there were two brothers who did this test, right?
Yes.
So for one of the brothers, it was the Engage Encore. So you got that one.
Yep. Cool.
For the other brother, it was this relatively unknown paddle called the Carbon. And that came in at number 1 on one of the brothers' lists and number 2 on the other brothers. So it is, therefore, the paddle that generates the most RPMs and theoretically is the most spinny paddle, or the king of spin. It's CRBN, Carbon Pickleball. They have one paddle. They have a 13 millimeter and a 16 millimeter.
Two paddles.
They sent me them.
Mm-hmm.
They're legit. They're a brand new company. I think the founder was telling me he launched in like July. And yeah, so I thought that was pretty wild. If you want to get a Carbon Pickleball paddle, by the way, you can go to fromwithpickleball.com. And if you use code 10DINK, you get 10% off.
Does that work for Gamma paddles on there as well?
I don't. So there's a few restrictions on certain paddles. It might work for Gamma paddles, unless it's one of the rare ones where it doesn't. But yeah,
I need to play with more spin, honestly. But Gamma, who is my partner, my paddle sponsor, they have some spin-oriented paddles. I've always played with the poppier paddles because I feel like I just don't have that ball speed that some of these top guys have unless I play with a poppier, harder face.
Right.
But maybe I will start slapping some spin on them balls.
Well, aren't they coming out with a new paddle here pretty soon too?
Yeah, they have some Newman signature stuff coming out at some point.
I saw that. I saw a little preview. It's pretty cool.
They've been teasing it for a while. And if you look at Riley's and Lindsay's social medias, you can see little glimpses of them. So
for anybody wondering, so I'm just going to read the top 5 from one list and then the other. So the Engage Encore. So this is brother 1, Patrick.
Yeah.
Engage Encore, then the Carbon, then the Electrum, then the other Carbon, right? Because there's a 13 and 16 millimeter.
Sure.
And then a Pro Kennex, which I didn't expect.
Okay.
And by the way, it's the Engage Encore, not the Engage Pursuit.
Yep.
And then on brother 2, which is Chris, which is the guy who does these videos, it is the, it's the Carbon 13 millimeter, the Pro Kennex, the Selkirk Amped Epic, which I didn't expect. And then this one I definitely didn't expect was the Babolat Monster Touch. And then lastly, the Pro Kennex Pro Speed 2. So it's the Pro Kennex Pro Flight and the Pro Kennex Pro Speed 2. So I don't know. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I was surprised that just the Ben Johns was not even in the top 10 for either. I thought that was interesting. But
right. I think still though, like when you're telling me this stuff and listing it, because there's even differences in this, you're like, okay, there's differences in the brothers' swings, obviously, if they're doing two different lists. And they had such a small pool of paddles. There's so many other paddles out there. You need to design a robot to swing these like a human would so that you get the exact same spin, exact same contact every time.
Yeah.
Still very interesting. I agree. But also I would say that if there's that much inconsistency between these two players with all these paddles on which one has the most spin, then maybe it's an even more personal touch thing based more on the player and how they swing the paddle.
Yeah. No, I mean, totally. I would have, if I were them and maybe they just didn't have a ball machine, but I would use a ball machine.
But a ball machine, maybe they have a ball machine.
Just keep it at the same speed. I mean,
yeah, the ball comes at the same speed, but still there's inconsistency with your swing as a human.
Oh, there's always going to be inconsistency. That's why you need a greater sample size.
Yeah. A huge sample size
to accommodate for that.
Yeah. But, or a mechanical way to test the spin on the ball.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's cool. Cool to get some actual insight.
Yeah. Fun idea.
All right. I do want to talk about this pickleball master course really quickly. Because it is pretty dang wild. Like, I went to college. I took pretty comprehensive online courses. None of them, and I've taken like digital marketing courses. I've taken like copywriting course. Like, none of them come close to the number of like modules, the number of lessons, like the takeaways. It's wild. I think you can like preview some of it on their website, pickleballmastercourse.com. But like, honestly, if you are wondering what the heck I'm going to get, like my mom or my dad or somebody else, or like, my buddy for the holidays, like, get him a better pickleball game, get him this course. I was talking to my uncle. He took the course too.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I went up a rating like within the first month. It was like that. So it's pretty impressive. And if you're lazy like me,
how much time do you have to put into it, or is it more just like stuff goes in your head and then you're able to execute?
Totally relative, like based on like how long it takes to get through it all. Because like, some people just go through that stuff faster.
Tell me what you do here. So do you take the lesson, then go out and try and execute the lesson, or are you watching the lesson while you're on the court? What's happening?
You could do both. I think most people are watching the lessons and then going out to the court.
Okay.
Because they're not going to take like their laptop with them. But hey, if you're one of those lucky people who has it in your backyard, it's probably like 10 times more effective. So.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can get 10% off if you use code all caps the dink.
Okay.
And just to be clear, the Fromouth, where you can get like literally 10% off anything, is 10 dink, all caps dink.
Okay.
So it's the dink and 10 dink.
Okay. Cool. Other gifts include Fila pickleball gear, my preferred court shoe.
Wow. Okay. I thought you were going to say like and comment.
No. Gamma paddles. You can do Tyson 20 for 20% off at gammasports.com off everything. And and you should like and comment because that helps us keep going here on the show. And if you're looking for places to play and you're traveling, download the PicklePlay app, find courts on there. And if you are interested in asking questions to the community, go on Pickleball Forum on Facebook. And there's always responses there to any questions you have about pickleball in the community.
For sure. But seriously, please subscribe, hit the follow button on
Smash
Spotify.
That follow button.
Smash the follow button. And I didn't realize this. Like, I'm not really concerned with the YouTube views that much, but it does help us if you like the video. I thought you just need to subscribe. I'm getting familiar with YouTube.
You gotta like it. Drive that up.
So please do the little thumbs up if you like the podcast. We appreciate it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all we got for this week.
Okay. That was a great episode. Awesome of McNasty to come in, and a pleasure as always, Thomas. Talk next week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.